All right, today we are digging into some seriously dangerous ideas about wealth. I'm talking about secrets so powerful they were actually forbidden. Let me ask you something. Do you know the world's biggest lie? And I'm not talking about some little white lie. This is a huge, foundational belief that gets hammered into our heads almost every single day. The lie is this, that rich people get rich just from hard work. That's it. Simple, right? Wrong. The real truth is way more complex, and it's been hidden for centuries in a 500-year-old book, a book so dangerous the church banned it, governments burned it. It held secrets meant for kings, and today we're cracking it open. So, where do we even begin? Well, we start with the first and, honestly, the most crucial secret of all, the art of invisibility. Okay, so Machiavelli lays out this really simple choice for you. Are you going to be the lion or are you going to be the fox? Think about it. The lion is all power, right? It's visible, it's loud, it roars and shows off its strength, but because everyone sees it, it gets hunted. Now the fox, totally different game. The fox is clever, quiet, practically invisible. And you know what? The fox survives. Every time you post that new car, that new watch on social media, guess what? You're being the lion. And who's the fox? Think of someone like Warren Buffett, who still lives in the same house he bought back in 1958. That's the fox. So here's the bottom line, and you really gotta get this. Every single time you show off your success, you're not being cool. You are literally painting a target on your back. You're inviting jealousy from your family, those awkward "can I borrow some money" calls from friends, and worst of all, the eyes of your competitors. And look, this isn't some new age idea. This strategy has been used for centuries. There's this great story about a textile merchant back in Florence. His business was absolutely booming, but you would never know it. He kept wearing his old, worn-out clothes. He stayed in the same tiny old shop, and anytime someone asked how things were going, he'd just sigh and say, business is slow. And the result? It was genius. His competitors completely ignored him, just wrote him off as a small-timer. His suppliers actually gave him better prices because they felt sorry for him. And in just 5 years, he secretly became the biggest, most powerful merchant in the entire city. He was playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers, using human psychology as his ultimate weapon. Okay, so being invisible protects you from outsiders. That makes sense. But what about the people on the inside? The people you trust? And that brings us to a much, much harder truth. Sometimes the real enemy is one of your own. Let me tell you about a modern-day tragedy. Picture this. A startup founder, he finally hits it big, a massive 100 crore valuation. So what does he do? He throws a giant party. And in all the excitement, the champagne flowing, he gets up on stage and lays out his entire future strategy. His 5-year plan, his secret sauce, for everyone to hear. His team, his investors, everybody. What happens next? Just 6 months later, his own CTO resigns and walks right over to a direct competitor, taking every single one of those secrets with him. Within 2 years, the company was completely wiped out, gone. His one fatal mistake? He showed his cards to the people at his own table. And this right here gets to one of Machiavelli's most important rules, and it is brutally simple. The person who doesn't know about your success cannot stop you. It's as simple as that. Your secrecy is your greatest shield. So, okay, if showing off your success is a total trap, then how in the world do you actually build it? The answer is by creating an empire of silence. I want you to really think about this. What is real power? Is it that influencer you follow with 5 million followers? Not even close. They're the product. The real power is the silent sponsor pulling the strings behind the scenes. The company whose name you've never even heard of, who's using that influencer's audience to move millions of dollars in product. That is invisible power. And trust me, it is everywhere. And this whole idea of silent power, it extends to what you actually build with your money. You know, Machiavelli noticed something fascinating. He saw that families who built monuments to their wealth, the giant palaces, the over-the-top parties, they were usually broke within a couple of generations. But the families who built systems, things like trade routes, business networks, assets that worked for them, many of them are still powerful today. It's the difference between a monument and a system. A Ferrari, that's a monument. It just takes money out of your pocket. A dividend stock portfolio, that's a system. It puts money into your pocket. See the difference? One makes you look rich, the other actually makes you rich. So let me ask you a very real, very honest question. If you stopped working tomorrow, like completely stopped, how long would your household run? A week? A month? A year? If your income is completely tied to your time, you are not free. You might be comfortable, but you're in a gilded cage. You've built a monument to your hard work, not a system that sets you free. And all of this, it brings us to the final and maybe the most profound lesson of them all. This is the idea that ties everything we've talked about together. It's simple, but it's powerful. Don't look rich, be rich. Just look at this number for a second. $58 billion. That was the net worth of the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, one of the richest human beings on the entire planet. Now, take a wild guess. How do you think a guy with that much money actually lived his life? Get this. The man flew economy class. He drove a 15-year-old Volvo. He used discount coupons at the grocery store and would bargain for vegetables at the local market. People called him a cheapskate, a miser, but he wasn't being cheap. He was being strategic. He was the ultimate fox. He was protecting himself from jealousy, from unwanted attention, from ever becoming a target. He was living life completely on his own terms because he had absolutely nothing to prove to anyone. Because here's the ultimate truth, the secret that wraps all of this up in a neat little bow. Money is loud. Wealth is quiet. See, money screams for attention. It needs to be seen. But true wealth just whispers. It's the difference between having to show everybody what you have and just knowing. You know, something amazing happens when you stop trying to prove yourself to the world. You finally start to improve yourself. When you tune out all that noise, your actions, your work, it starts to speak for itself. So the real game, not just of wealth, but of power, of life itself, it's won in silence. So the only question I have for you is, what will your silence build?